Hey guys, welcome to episode 155 of 4PlayerAnimecast. It is the 17th of October, 10 p.m. on the east coast of the United States, and we are here on a relatively comfy evening, at least where I am, with everybody intact. Nobody's definitely ill of COVID, and which I pray for everybody's health every day. So everybody's all safe and good. That's nice. And I am your host, Spire, as per usual. And with me are my compatriots again, all safe and sound in the dark.
Hey, how you doing?
Near
Hey,
and Toast.
They won't let me buy tickets yet.
Anyways, everybody is again here, all safe and
Here,
sound.
can you buy
Everybody.
tickets? I can't.
I don't think it's even showing here, dude.
Try
Uh,
harder.
Yeah.
Can't buy a
so
ticket. Are movie theaters even open by you, bro?
That's probably why I can't buy tickets.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
that's a small problem.
Anyways, everybody's kind of being sucked into Genshin Impact and so on and so forth.
I'm not.
We are all here. So I guess I'll start off with 2 weeks. I've been having actually, real life has still been kicking my ass, but I'm sort of getting back on track. I've been actually reading again some other visual novels here and there. Um, I believe Yukikoi Melt, a little bit more Ponkotsakuma, some other stuff, and of course, I'm getting back to doing my usual like side hobbies like that again. Especially obviously with the anime, I've kept up with um, the couple of animes that I've been watching before, like uh, well, not Secret Rifa, but stuff like what I'm going to be talking about this time around. Some of the series I'm going to be talking about this time around, as well as some other more sort of like softer, like Josei kind of stuff. So I've been on a slower binge with regards to anime. Other than that, I haven't been doing too much. So that's that for me. What about you, Dark? What have you been up to these past 2 weeks?
Doing a couple things, you know. I've been keeping up with what is it, Fire Force season 2.
Mm.
Because that's good gym content, you know. Good cardio shit. Started Jujutsu Kaisen. I haven't really
Yes.
started anything else just because I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I kind of want to wait a while.
Yeah, a lot of series like this season are like they
I
kind of
don't,
want you kind of want to wait for them, right? It's
yeah, like I don't really
yeah.
watch, I don't watch, well, not even really. I don't watch like any like sort of like slower or like slice of life series at the gym or anything. So like I'm waiting to watch them at home, but like right now I've had like most of my time taken up by fucking Genshin and just like making mistakes in that. So, you know, um, first whaling experience down, so that's been fun. Uh, but hey, you know, I have 3 5 stars now, including Venti. So, yeah, it's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else I've really been up to. Um, not really a whole lot else, you know.
Right, it's been quiet,
COVID's
pretty quiet recently.
starting to
Right.
rise again. Uh,
Third wave.
in New York, which is very fun. But hey,
You say third wave like the wave never ended in America, dude.
yeah, that's the thing. That's why like so many people have been saying like second wave, and I'm just like, I mean, it's never gonna be a second wave. It's just not gonna ever end. Like it's just never gonna go away. Like our best bet is like when a vaccine comes out, at least the people who get vaccinated aren't really affected. Also, pre call out WHO can suck my fucking cock with saying that like young people might have to wait till 2022. Yeah, all right. How about you kiss my ass? I'm pretty sure a fucking 80-year-old can like hold off on the vaccine if they can stay, fucking socially distant and inside. Whereas your primary workforce and the people most affected by it, like 40s, 30s, 50s, should probably be the ones to get it.
Yeah.
Because they're like, healthy young people. It's like, sure, maybe not a teenager right away, but like at the same time, you also need to prioritize people who are actually consistently leaving their house and need to for school and work.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like the
not
people
just
who
the
are
people
actually
most at
engaging.
risk of like dying to it. Not really the only statistic you can go by.
So it's a little bit. Anyways, anything else?
Not really. Venti's cool. That's it.
All right. What about you, Nier? What have you been up to?
Oh, the usual.
The huge.
Yeah, Shadowverse, FGO. I've been debating whether or not I want to go to if I really want to do the Grandmaster's grind this expansion. I haven't done it in a while, but I don't know, man, that shit's stressful. But
It's like
a
it's pretty
deck
much
a deck I
all
really
the
like
time.
is
Yeah.
actually competitively viable right now, so I'm kind of tempted to just go for it, but I don't know. But yeah, just been grinding that out. I need to like a new event is coming up in FGO where it's like, haha, by the way, you need to be entirely caught up with the story. And here I am 2 parts behind. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, nothing new really.
Okay. And Toast, what about you?
You guys ready for the storm that is approaching?
What?
Virgil?
Yes.
I mean, that's a month from now for some people, and I think December 1st for the DLC, so
But
I
that's
mean,
not what I'm talking about.
I'm ready.
Even though I do I like that song.
What else are you talking about? Ava?
No.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
that's
tapped for
January.
ideas.
So what's today? Today's the 17th. Yeah. So on the 18th, Marine
Oh,
debuts her new outfit,
Whatever. Who cares, man? Can we
and then
move
on the
on?
19th, you
Oh my
asked me, so I'm going to talk about it. And on the 19th, they come back.
fucking talk about outfits here.
Sakura Miko comes back on the 21st. Suisei has her 500K concert on Monday, whatever that day is. That also 19? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'm actually pretty excited for the 21st, to be honest.
Anyways,
And then yeah, Sora, the new outfit, and then the costumes and all that stuff.
yeah, new costumes, sub thing, etc. The usual, right? But
Not the usual.
anyways,
It's been like a month of sadness now. Now
thank you, Toast.
the storm is approaching.
Thank you, Toast, for helping to cover our daily photos.
You asked, so I'm going to talk about it. You brought this on yourself.
Oh my god! All right, so more virtual YouTuber stuff, and of course, actually, Toast is going to cover something quite interesting with regards to his series. So watch out for that. Beyond that, I believe there's nothing much. Again, as Stark mentioned, there is COVID. Everything's getting delayed. Everybody's catching COVID.
But yeah, speaking of delays,
Yes.
the movie tickets for Heaven's Feel Part
Yes.
3 were supposed to be released on the 16th, but I haven't been able to buy tickets yet. Because they
Well,
say they're still sitting at movie theaters, and I'm like, damn you.
I mean,
They won't let me buy them online. I'm waiting.
Pretty
The movie
expected at
theaters
this
are not
point.
open yet. So, so who's lying to me?
Honestly, shouldn't they just be doing like? I feel like they should just be doing like
Should be
online
doing
viewings,
pre-orders
right?
anyway.
They will, then I will. But like,
Oh, no. I meant like they. I'm not talking about like you necessarily because I'm saying they should probably be doing instead of like live viewings, like some sort of like online viewing, right? That would have
you
to
mean
be
like
better.
the Goblin Slayer movie? Well, if they will, then I'll buy a ticket. But
Yeah.
they haven't updated the news
Yeah,
site yet.
I wish they would do that, so you wouldn't have to go and risk COVID just to watch Heaven's Feel. You know what I mean? So, anyway, hopefully.
Well, maybe you have your priorities wrong, Spire.
Well, I'm saying regardless
Yeah,
of
are you gonna
priorities, it would
get
not be good to catch
COVID and see
COVID.
Heaven's Feel, or are you gonna pay $30 to
I'm
watch
saying
it on
I'm saying
demand, bud?
I'm saying regardless of
Which would you
priorities, it would
rather
not be
do?
great.
Spire,
I would not be pleased if you caught COVID, Toast.
are you saying you're not going to watch the Monster Hunter movie with me in December?
I don't think so, Toast. I am not next to you right now, so that would be pretty hard to do.
Can you believe that's a greater Rathalos?
Dude, who needs to go to a theater and see a movie when the hit film Hubby Halloween or Hubie Halloween just came out on Netflix?
Anyways, thank you, Toast, for helping to cover again your past 2 weeks, or telling us about your past 2 weeks. And I guess without
What
further
past 2 weeks? I didn't talk about anything at all.
Yeah.
oh, that
Your
was
past
something.
2 weeks
Okay.
have been Hollow Live. I'm guessing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what was other? Did you
Oh,
do anything stuff that's not virtual YouTubers and stuff and Heaven's
no.
Feel? Okay, well, okay, well,
Solid.
okay, well, I mean, you talked about the virtual YouTubers and you talked about Heaven's Feel. So, is there anything else that you want to mention?
No.
All
Ah.
right, good.
Really sat there pondering Heaven's Feel for
All right, then.
Well, yeah,
hours at a time.
there's a
There was
double
what?
feature, but I can't watch that either. So,
Yeah, that's
what are you doing to me?
again, it's fairly fortunate. But so I guess without further ado, we'll move on. I do want to say again, just like a like a header before this. The four series that we're about to cover, like I'm actually really sort of interested to talk about all of them to some extent, and I haven't been this interested in all four series for quite a while. So, anyways, that's just like a little heads up for me. But again, without further ado, we'll move on. Toast, what do you have for us today?
Huh? What else did I do?
No. I'm talking about the series that you watched.
What
Sir?
did I watch?
Sir.
Did I watch? What was I covering? I forgot.
Dogu, whatever. What do you? How do you say that?
You okay, dude?
It's the fucking
it
one
Dogeza?
you linked.
that
You
one-
of
yeah,
all people
that-
should
that-
know this because
It's
you used to
Dogeza de-
link this shit.
It's
Me-
Dogeza de Tanondemita, or I asked while doing a Dogeza, or I asked while sort of kneeling down.
What is that? Is that how it's translated? Okay.
Yeah, or I begged. I guess I pleaded, whatever.
It's probably
begged slash pleaded while
translates like I
doing a Dogeza.
plead on or I begged on.
I
my
tried
knees.
asking in
Wow.
Dogeza.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Dogeza de Tanondemita.
So, yeah. What was this about? Oh, yeah. This is 3 minutes. This
Yes,
was
it's a
3 minutes,
13 minute
as we all predicted. And I was like, nice. So let me tell you about the author. If you guys, what was the previous? What was the author's previous word? Work. It was the cool one with the Spider Girl, and I think something about curry. Addicted to curry. You guys know what that is? No. Don't worry about it.
No.
No,
Oh,
let me.
what? No, you don't know what that is?
No.
I feel like I know who this person is. Oh,
Well,
addicted. Oh, this one. Okay, yeah, okay.
What do you know what that is?
I've definitely seen it. I haven't actually read it, but I've yeah.
You know what else they did? Yokai Shoujo Monsuga, which is the
Oh,
the
Yokai Shoujo
real shit.
Masaga. Oh,
The
okay.
real
I
shit.
see. Yeah, all right. I see where this is going. All right, keep going to us about
So
this series.
this series, it's about some dude voiced by our favorite resident virtual YouTuber himself, and he goes around asking a bunch of girls to show them either their panties or their boobies while doing a dogeza.
Why not
And
both?
it's only one year. The dogeza only works once.
You can't
By the
get
way, Nier,
greedy, bro.
by the way, Nier and Dark, I will give you exactly one guess each to guess who was the male voice actor for this series.
Well,
Spoiler,
he
he's a
said,
VTuber.
yeah, he said VTuber, so I'm going with Sugita, which
Yeah.
is fucking bizarre, but sure.
It's actually the funniest choice.
I
Honestly,
mean, yeah,
that
it's a pretty funny choice, but it's still kind of strange. Like,
I think he's also one of the only people that could have done it without it being like just like really like weird. You know what I mean? Like whack. Like if like Sukita
yeah,
doing
I guess
this,
that does make sense. I guess it
Sukita doing
makes
this, people will kind of like laugh it off, like oh, you know, like it's kind of like this is kind of his alley,
yeah, it is
right?
meta, I guess, in that regard.
But everything else is like why? Yeah. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah, so he's the what's his name? Dogeza-kun or whatever. So he goes up to the girls like, "Hey, show me or whatever," and they're like, "No, I don't want to." And then Sugita's like, "Yeah, you do." And then he does his Sugita style brand of humor where, you know, if you watch him, he's got that iconic voice and mannerisms that make him really funny. So he
Hmm.
does that. They're all like, "Damn, okay." But then what
This
they
is all
added,
first person, by the way. This is all first person.
yeah,
Yeah.
you only show the girl because what is this? Was this a Twitter web short, whatever? I think what it is. Well, each chapter of the Dogeza manga, as you want to call it, is just 5 pages of the girl and doing stuff. You never see the dude, but yeah, apparently you can see the dude here, but not really. It's still in first person. So anyway, and he just keeps asking them, and then they show, and he's all like, "Yes, nice." But but Spider, this is up your alley. There's a
What?
key difference. They changed the adaptation when they made it as an anime
What do you mean?
because they added a supporting character known as the Heavenly Voice, who's voiced by Kazuma Horie. I don't know who this guy is, but apparently he was in Durara. I don't know. I don't know who this. And My Hime, that's an old one. And Natsume's Book of Friends, whatever.
Oh, okay. So some of these he's doing a lot of these are sort of like much older roles. Like he has like some Claymore stuff here, some other stuff. But anyway, keep
So
going.
yeah, so what the Heavenly Voice and Sugita do? They act as the angel and devil on your shoulder.
Mhm.
So as to say, where the dude Heavenly Voice is all like, "No, you don't want to do this. That's wrong." And then Sugita's like, "Yes, I do. I want to see them pants."
Pants.
And I'm like, "Damn." They're really trying to make this some sort of social argument going on in here. Sugita just wants to see some panties. Leave him alone. And I'm like, it's 3 minutes, so I guess they have to pad it out because this is what, like I said, this is a 5 minute one panel each manga. So if they decided to make this an anime, you gotta pad it out. So
By
that's
the
what the
way, I just
padding out
want to
is.
say, for I mean, I know that obviously if a series gets big enough, it'll kind of gather people. But like even like especially for us, like for a short series and a series that's sort of like this, right, where it's kind of based around this sort of theme, it doesn't necessarily get the bigger voice actors because obviously sometimes they want to kind of dodge it or they have other, more important stuff to do, right? But this has like fucking what is it? It might be because of COVID. It might be because of something else. I don't know. But it has Ogura Yui. It has Tomita Miu. It has Nagatsuma Judy. Like all of these solidly like A tier, S tier like voice actresses.
They're just big
Shizayaka.
fans.
Yeah, they're just big fans of the sex, right? But especially what I want to kind of talk about a little bit was Ogura Yui. This is a very interesting path for her because obviously like it might be kind of interesting for people to know that she is a veteran. She's like a big veteran. Like if you guys know Shimonohiro, right? The sort of the more bokeh like acting, kind of stupid comedy ish, comedic voice ish voice actor, right? That did Bakuto Test protagonist. He does like kind of bokeh or like dummy voices for like protagonists that are like dumb kind of voices for a lot of different series. So Shimonohiro is 10 years Ogura Yui's junior in terms of work experience. Ogura Yui has 10 more years of work experience than Shimonohiro. And Shimonohiro is not a young person. He's like, what is it? He's in his 40s, right? He's 30, like a latter 30s, 40s, right? He's not a young person. So so Ogura Yui has some experience, which might explain some of this stuff. But it's very interesting to see her go into this sort of role where, like, for instance, in the first episode of this, right? Dogeza, I believe there's only been one episode so far, right? Toast, that's been released. So this one, she like obviously some stuff is censored, but like the Dogeza like succeeds, and then she kind of like there's a scene where she actually like kind of flips off her clothes, like kind of reveals her boobs or whatever, right? Ish. So with this and what was the gal series? What Hachimete no Garu, right? The Hachimete no Garu, or like My Girlfriend's a Gal or whatever it is, right? That where Ogura Yu also did a pretty sort of like lewd or erotic scene, right? Like almost as close to coming to hentai as you can get, right? In a mainstream series, right? Stuff like that. I'm pretty interested that it's pretty interesting that Ogura Yui did this, right? Because the modern generation, or at least the younger generation of voice actresses, avoid this shit like the plague, right? Even the older voice actresses now avoid this shit like the plague, right? If you look at Uesaka Sumire, Minase Inori, I don't know, what is it? Konomi Kuwara, right? All these younger voice actresses who are popular now, Takahashi Rie, right? They're not taking these sorts of lewd roles, right? Because they have that sort of, they're being sold off as celebrity voice actresses, right? Their sort of value is in their brand image as Takahashi Rie, as Uesaka Sumire, as sort of these pure voice actresses who are also idols who, they gotta be pure, blah, 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 all this shit, right? So they don't take these roles. Like if you look at their, for instance, visual novel roles, they do not take any roles that have these sorts of, sexual CGs or whatever in them. Although they have explicitly said that these sorts of game visual novel roles, right, oftentimes give them much more money than doing whatever anime episodes. So it's really interesting and unexpected to see that Ogura Yui does these sorts of roles. It's just like a kind of like a tangent for me. I'm sorry, Toast, for interrupting, but it's like it's a very weird tangent for me that Ogura Yui is sort of like able to kind of just do these roles and be like, yeah, whatever, I don't give a fuck. Whereas almost literally like 99% of the other voice actresses in Japan, the modern voice actresses in Japan, don't do these roles. Explicitly do not do these roles. Like you can see them. It's just like
They're seeing VTubers and they're like, hey, wait a minute.
Hold up, let me make some money.
Wait a minute. What's this?
Yeah.
Because I think, what was it, like Matsuri and I forget who else are doing, I think they're doing like the OP for a
Yes.
H game or
I mean,
something?
streamer, like people that originally come from like
You
these
mean Sakura, Miko, and Azuki?
yeah. The thing
Oh,
is
is
like
that who's doing it? I thought it was
Yeah.
Matsuri.
that's also a pretty interesting thing because it's like those like streamers and VTubers and stuff like that. They come from like these backgrounds, like their original thing is in that sort of like cabaret girl, that sort of like luring people in, luring dudes in with cosplay or ASMR, whatever the fuck, right? Showing off whatever. And so I think they're a little bit more like in tune with like, oh, I'll just make money off of this, right? As long as I don't have to show my face, right? That's whatever. But like it's very interesting that there is this sort of like delineation. There's this like for simp farming, yeah, what Cecile said. Again, that everybody right now in the modern voice actress industry, the modern seiyuu industry, except for Ogura Yui, for some fucking reason, that's not doing it. Even Ayana Taketatsu, right? Taketatsu Ayana, right? She did stuff like I believe she did some lewd VNs before. Obviously, she did Kiss Sis, right? Which near Toast, Sarah know.
No, what is Kiss Sis?
Toast, please.
Yeah.
Who does
Toast, please.
who does Amagami have? Because Amagami doesn't have H scenes.
No,
Zero?
Amagami explicitly does not have
Okay,
HC.
never mind.
It's
Amagami,
family friendly.
Amagami and Love Plus are like sort of the archetypal example of like those. You know
Oh,
how like
you know what I'm getting
know,
Amagami mixed up with? I'm getting
What?
Amagami mixed up with fucking
School days?
no,
the
no, I'm literally I'm getting it mixed up
Otokano?
with no, even like further out. Fucking why
What?
can't I think of the name of it now? Samurai Girls.
Majikoi.
Yeah, I'm getting it
Oh,
confused with
you mean
Majikoi
old
just
Samurai
because.
Girls, yeah.
Yeah.
I think just from
Both of them are
Discord,
pretty
honestly.
big. Yeah, but Amagami, yeah, Majikoi is quite popular, but Amagami is like arguably like Amagami and Love Plus are like in the history of Japanese visual novels, they are historic. It's kind of hard to say it. It feels weird to say it, but it's historic. Many visual novels are inspired by that. But anyways,
Yeah, Sugita has like 8 saves in that.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I just wanted to go off on that tangent because it's like I just found it very weird. Like the first girl here in the cover, this red-haired girl, right,
Spire.
is voiced by Ogura Yui.
Spire,
Yep.
let me correct you on one thing. You forgot the originator of the dating sim archetype.
Oh.
Marine played it with Korone. Do you not forget? Did you not watch the Tokimeki stream?
Oh, Tokimeki, yes, Tokimeki. Yes. Tokimeki. Yes. You are correct. Yeah, stuff like Tokimeki. I mean, I'm not saying that Amagami and like Love Plus were like the be all end all. Yeah, they were part of the history. They were part of it. Yeah, along with again
the
stuff
modern,
like Tokimeki.
the
Yes.
modern day, whatever you want to call it.
Yes. You are. But yeah. Anyways, did you have? Sorry for going on this tangent to us. I just wanted.
No,
to,
it's
yeah.
sure. This is 3 minutes. What else do I got? It's good. It's funny. It's great.
But yeah,
it's censored, but it's like that's why you gotta wait for the BD release.
Yeah, it has surprisingly the visuals are kind of suspect, but the seiyuu they're all A-listers at least, which is pretty funny.
There's no. I don't think there's an MTX version of this. But don't worry, there's another anime that I'm gonna cover this season that has an MTX version. So don't worry about it. Yeah. What else? What else was? This is probably gonna be the my top anime of this season.
Toast, please.
Short.
I'm gonna be extremely sad if you say that.
Short.
I'm gonna be so sad if you say
to the point. You see what you want. Bam, in and out. 3-minute journey. Just
I'm
like
not saying
in real
this
life.
series is like bad or whatever. I'm saying that I would be extremely sad if you say something like that. Okay.
Of all the shows this season, Jesus Christ.
3-minute journey inspired just like in real life. Get it? Ha ha
Oh,
ha.
Anyways,
What do you want me to give it? Well, like what else is gonna top this? That's an original.
What could possibly top this?
Yashahime, that's a sequel.
Like the anime industry is over, dude.
Anyways, thank you.
Yashahime is a sequel. What else?
Well,
Dragon Quest. Well, that's different. That doesn't count. That doesn't count in this category.
What category are we talking about?
Anime originals, I think he said.
Dragon Quest is a remake. What, King's Raid? Do you think King's Raid can beat this? What was that? What was that weird series with the Huge? You think this could beat this? I don't
Oh,
think
I
so.
can guarantee you it will not.
Anyways, thank you, Toast, for helping to cover. Oh,
Yeah.
Dogeza de Tanondemita.
One more thing. One more
Yes.
fun thing. This series originally ended in like what 45 chapters? Is it
Mhm.
45? I think.
Mm, Some
So,
some
let me-
surprising number of chapters, we'll call it, right? Okay.
yeah, 45 chapters. So you get to see 45 different girls. Good for you. But after the anime announcement, the authors restarted the series. So
That's pretty
the
funny.
ride never ends.
That's pretty funny, actually. Anyways, thank you, Toast. And with that, we'll move on to near or not near. Well, actually, no, I should be going here with this order. But
Spire, what you
Oh
got?
my god, this guy gives me the wrong order every
oh no, sorry,
fucking
it is near.
time.
Sorry, but I'll go. Anyways, I just wanted to kind of no.
Oh
The
my
reason.
god, make up your mind, for Christ's
Sorry,
sake.
sorry,
I'm
sorry.
trying to put
The
the
reason-
image up.
Sorry, I'll go. Because the reason why I didn't want Nier to go after was because I suddenly thought to myself, okay, this series Into Strike Witches, maybe not the best. Maybe that's a little bit more-ish. Maybe it's a little bit too much.
That's fine.
Anyways, I'll be going. So this is Tonikaku Kawaii, also known as Fly Me to the Moon for I believe that's actually like the sort of the subheading, not the localization name itself. But it is. So I forget what the studio is. The studio is Seven Arcs. Seven Arcs. So I believe they're a tier sort of 2 studio. They've helped out with.
They've done. I know they've done Nanoha and
Ah,
Sekiro.
they were they main productions? Oh, they were main production. Yeah, I
And they
apologize.
also did, yeah.
Well, yeah, they haven't been up. How
I
what
mean,
have they
to
been
be
doing
fair,
recently?
Nanoha is kind of like their biggest project.
Yeah, you see those movies? Those
Yeah.
movies are really good looking.
Yeah.
I think they're still like they're not. I mean, beyond the Nanoha stuff, they're not. They haven't been too active. So I would still probably put them as tier 2, tier 1.5.
Dude, they did
But
Dog Days. What are you talking about?
Dog Days, fuck you. But they did, Nanoha, Dog Days, White Album, Asura Crying, Sekire, stuff like that.
Right, that's White Album. Ugh.
They
Yeah,
also did
yeah.
yeah, the bad
the
White Album.
the White Album, yes, this one, and they did Trinity 7 movie, I believe, but anyways, or yeah, they did Trinity 7.
What else do they have of the Nanoha? I know they do like one Nanoha every 1 to 2 years.
They did Arte, and again, other than that, they haven't
Arte,
done too
okay.
much. Again, they did Dog Days, stuff like that. I think they've mainly spent their years trying to just do movie stuff for the most part. But
They're good movies.
no, I mean I'm not saying that they're bad movies, but they've been pretty busy. But anyways, this is by them, and they've done a pretty good job in kind of reproducing the art of the original artist, manga artist. And the artist's name is something that should ring a bell to a lot of people or cause PTSD, whichever. It is.
Akiyuki Shimbo? Who?
That'd be pretty
Yeah.
funny. It is Hata Kenjiro, which if that hasn't caused PTSD to you yet, is the manga artist best known for his work in Hayate no Gotoku, or Hayate the Combat Butler, which
Oh,
ended 3 years ago, 2017. And then a year later, 2018-ish, he started this Fly Me to the Moon, Tonikaku Kawaii. So this,
man.
like, honestly, the moment I saw the art in the anime, I was like, this seems really, 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 really familiar. Who is this? Oh, is this like this kind of looks like Hayate? And then I looked it up. It was Hata Kenjiro. I was like, this motherfucker, this motherfucker.
Man, Hayate is a throwback. That's a boomer anime. No one remembers that back nowadays.
Oh my god.
So that pink-haired girl in Hayate, she finally won, but in a different series.
This she wanted a different series. Yeah, that's pretty funny actually. Anyways, so this is about a boy who's just trying to, get along in life, get through in life, and he is, kind of walking along one day and chances upon a beautiful girl, just kind of at a bus stop, and he's like, "Oh, this is love at first sight," and tries to go across the street to confess to her, but then gets hit by a truck or whatever. Fortunately, he does not get isekai'd, as would be usually the case, and he actually uh, goes to the hospital, recovers, and later the girl, later the girl actually again knocks on his apartment door and comes with a marriage sort of contracts, the form application, and she says, "Okay, I'll marry you." And this sort of love at first sight gets fulfilled, and they get married, and they start. The rest of the series is about this sort of after story, right? Um, and
It's that easy. Someone
it's
get
just that
Giuna
easy.
on the line.
Someone. It is a very, very, very like the premise is extremely sort of like cream soup level smooth, just fucking after story, 110% after story kind of stuff. And I want to. I mean, that's the story, and again, the visuals are pretty well done by Seven Arcs. I mean, I don't think there's anything to complain about. The art is very, very Hata Kenjiro, and I want to spend a little bit more time kind of integrating what we have with the story to. I mean, again, it's a very episodic, like after story. They become more intimate over time. It's about their married life, whatever, blah blah. And yeah, straight to post game content, straight to NG plus. But I want to talk a little because this part, obviously, the episodic, whatever, after story, isn't that interesting to talk about. I want to integrate a little bit more with what I know about Hata Kenjiro and this is sort of like timeline. I want to say his evolution, right? And it's very interesting because how do I say this? So I want to start with like some of you might not know this, but Hata Kenjiro was an assistant once to Kumeta Koji. And for those of you who don't know who Kumeta Koji is, he is a he is the artist behind stuff like Joshiraku, Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei. What was the name of that one? Kakushigoto, right?
Yes.
Yes, he's the artist behind Kakushigoto, stuff like this. They're all very they are unique series and they're also popular, right? They're not just like, abstract art that you would just put in a museum and be like, wow, that's a weird premise. That's wonky, bro. They're quite popular. They have interesting premises. They have interesting hooks, characters, but they're all unique, right? Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei is pretty unique. Kakushigoto is pretty unique. Joshiraku is pretty unique, right? Even amongst the whole like four girls doing whatever kind of series,
Yeah.
right? X girl. Yeah. So Kumeta Koji, I would say, is sort of a really good example of a manga artist who both does good work, like sells his work properly as a professional, and is an artist, as in he makes his sort of original message, right? Um, so then we have Hata Kenjiro, and he makes Hayate no Gotoku, which I would argue is pretty much like in terms of like the scale of how big that became, it blows anything that Kumeta Koji did out of the water. Would you guys agree? Right? Like in
Sure.
terms of like merchandise, in terms of like how big
Yeah.
the franchise itself became. It blows
I don't
anything
know,
that
man.
Kumeta Koji.
Back in the day, I took one look at it and I was like, this is for lollicons, no thanks.
No, I mean,
Bro.
regardless of what you think about it, I'm saying
Yeah, but that
the
shit was
brand
fucking
name.
popular, dude. That shit
Yeah,
was
the Hayate no
really
Gotoku,
popular.
like the
I
popularity of
know.
Hayate no
I
Gotoku.
knew a lot of well, what's the word for female anime watchers? What is it again?
I mean, there's
The
no
nice
word for
word.
female
Posers?
anime.
Posters.
The nice word.
Disgusting, I believe, is
Cooties?
what you're trying to.
Yeah, there was
Oh
a
my
bunch.
god, dude.
Yeah, fujoshi. Thank you. That's the nice
It's
word.
not.
I don't think
doesn't
that's
really.
female
That's
manga.
not
I don't think
just
that's
female
Not
anime
quite
watchers.
what
That
that
is
means.
Female manga watchers.
Quite-
Yeah, so
you
I
keep
knew a
using this
bunch.
word. I don't think
quite specific.
I knew a bunch of
Fujoshi,
females who
Yeah.
watched it. I'm like, this show's the best, along with
along with
uh,
Sket Dance. What? Oron?
yeah, Oran. I'm like,
Yeah.
no thanks, no thanks,
Of
bro.
course.
Let me watch my
Of
Manda
course.
shows like
Nier,
Trigun and
Nier was
Inuyasha.
about to jump in with Kuroshitsuji. But
No,
anyway,
that's not early 2000 stuff.
yeah.
Oh, what else? A Full Metal Alchemist? Yeah, and I'm like, okay. So I stayed away from this series.
Well, you gotta give them a little bit of respect for FMA. But anyways,
Sure.
so
Okay.
Hayate no Gotoku was really popular. But I think anybody, whether they were a fan or a hater, and I was a fan who later became one of the biggest haters of the series, I don't think anybody could debate that Hayate no Gotoku was the most almost like stereotypical, drawn out, vanilla, boring ass piece of shit. Like with the most stupid fucking like vanilla premise that existed on the face of the earth, right?
Didn't it? It wasn't it like, oh, hey, I'm a butler, and then later it went on like battle and shonen, something like that.
I mean, not
Well,
really.
that's
I mean,
why he's a combat
it had,
butler. It's
yeah,
fucking
it had
name.
like quote unquote like action scenes ish, but literally like every chapter was just like, oh, X girl is kind of hitting on Hayate, or Y girl is hitting on Hayate, and Hayate never, decides whether he really wants to, hook up with Nagi. Nagi tries to
I
get
heard,
him
I heard they don't.
I forget what I didn't see the ending, but whatever. I don't even want to look at the ending because
Yeah,
it went
Spire
into all
acting like he's not
drugs.
seething in the back of his
Fake fan,
mind.
fake fan.
Yeah, big fan. But anyways, so this thing is, if you didn't like how Nisekoi, for instance, dragged on, you'd be like fuming over how long Hayate no Gotoku dragged out. You'd be
Uh,
fuming. It was disgusting how long it dragged.
You know what's making me feel right now?
What?
Rent a Girlfriend.
Well,
Jesus.
Shocker.
yeah.
Speaking
So-
of drawn outs here,
Man, but it's like, if you want really drawn out, I read all my, what is it? Oh my goddess, oh my goddess. That ended in
Oh
like
my
what,
God.
2014, and it started in the early 80s. Man, that's the good stuff right there.
But yeah. I mean, there's oh my god, and obviously there are a lot of other sort of older shoujo series too, right? Maid Sama being one of the more famous, infamous ones. But anyways, the point was it was just disgusting. It was the most like obvious premise that like spent what is it 700 plus chapters, right? 700 plus chapters being like will they, won't they, blah blah. And I felt like, even at like chapter 300, 400 or whatever, Hata Kenjiro was doing this thing like he was kind of carrying the weight of expectations on his back, but he was kind of just like, oh, I'm kind of making money with this series, so I'll just keep doing it, even though it was like honestly a terrible series. I don't think anybody looking at Hayate no Gotoku beyond the first couple hundred chapters or whatever, right? Could honestly be like, this is a good series. Nobody could like rationally justify that to themselves. But after this ended, and then Tonikaku Kawaii comes out, right? This is not a unique premise necessarily, but it's certainly an uncommon premise, right? It's something that hasn't been worked on, right? This after story. And it really feels like Hata Kenjiro kind of said this series is going to be kind of like, you know how it's like at the end of like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, kind of you have this thing where it's like the tension kind of dies down, and then you have like a full sort of couple of chapters, like series of chapters or arcs, where like all the hobbits kind of go back, kind of clean up Hobbiton, you know, relax and relax from Rivendell, just get ready to set sail for the voyage, right? Frodo and Gandalf get ready to set sail, right? And just it sort of relaxes, right? And I feel like this is that for Hata Kenjiro. It is the culmination of fuck this. I'm tired of Hayate no Gotoku. I'm just doing this so I can kind of write about, you know, relaxed after story shit. It just kind of feels like that. And I have kind of mixed feelings about this because it's like, it's not like that I don't like the series. I like it. It's like very smooth. But I feel like this sort of series could have been done earlier. Like Hayate no Gotoku, sure, it made money, but it was such a fucking shit series. And it makes me kind of angry that that sort of series had to be extended for so long. And this series, which not the best series, but certainly a better series than Hayate no Gotoku, had to be, you know, we had to wait on this until fucking that motherfucker, you know, ended Hayate no Gotoku in 2017, and we have to get this in 2018, right? So it kind of makes me slightly angry that fucking we had to wait this long for a slightly better series. So I don't know. Other than that, I don't have too much to say. I do like, again, the sort of after school nature, even though it's a bit episodic and it's like very sort of smooth vanilla, kind of like, oh well, there's not that much to see here, kind of stuff. But I do
So,
like it, and it's better than Hat.
so Spire, tell us the meaning of his name. The name meaning. I heard there's some interesting things happening.
Isn't it just like it was just like yeah. So there's how do you say that? There's this like thing in Japan where it's like they um some
You like
parents
space?
yeah, some parents like do really stupid shit where it's like they put a bunch of kanji that don't really like make sense in terms of pronunciation, and then they use or in terms of like meaning, even like coherent meaning, and then they use that to kind of make weird like sort of Roman names, right? Roman sort of English-ish names, right? So for instance, like this is real, by the way. There's like a Japanese boy that's like named Caesar, right, or something like that, or like Caesar, and like the parents use the kanji that pronounce that like spelled out Caesar or whatever, or that in a way that like you can pronounce Caesar, but like they were just like it was just like all garbage, right? And so you read it out like Caesar or Kaiser or whatever, right? Stuff like that.
Jesus.
And for instance, in this case, the main character, his kanji, his last name, shitaraname, his kanji are from the star kanji, se, and what is it? Uh, the sky kanji, right? Sora,
Starry
right?
sky.
Hoshi is Hoshi Sora, right? So it would be Starry Sky, but you read it. The parents made it so that you read it as NASA, as in the fucking U.S. Space Organization. So that's sort of part of the comedy part of the series. But the thing is, it actually like this sort of shit actually happens in Japan, much to the chagrin of course, the kids who are named
Victims.
that way. The victims, yes. So yeah, anyways, that's a little fun tidbit. But yeah, that's all I really had. Most of this is just me liking this series for the most part. It's a very smooth series. It's like almost like Josei feel kind of series that you should kind of go watch if you want a slower pacing and obviously sort of an after story kind of thing. But most of this is me kind of like watching this and thinking, why couldn't Hata Kenjiro just have done this earlier? Like this would stress me out 10 times less than fucking watching or looking through fucking 700 million chapters of Hayate no Koto. So,
Spy, you know what this person did before Tonikaku Kawaii or during, whatever you want to call it?
what?
Remember that one super popular webcomic about the crocodile?
Oh god.
Oh, that one.
Have
Did
you
he do
read
that one?
Have you read the spin-off of These Two Will Be Married in 100 Days?
Oh no, I haven't. I've seen the one where the crocodile dies in 100 days or whatever, but I haven't.
Yeah, so he went in on that bandwagon. He's all like, I'm gonna do this series about a couple that gets married in 100 days. And
Oh, that's really cool.
wait, this is actually pretty good. Let me write a series about this.
That's actually
That's
pretty
how
cool.
this series came out, probably.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
actually
this
really
couple will
cool.
be married in about 30 seconds.
Anyways, that's pretty much all I had for now. If you want to watch sort of like again sort of a smoother, slower pace after story kind of series, just yeah, check out Tonikaku Kawaii. It is again by Hata Kenjiro, the author behind Hayate no Gotoku. And with that, we are moving on to Nier.
Wow. I watched Strike Witches: Road to Berlin.
The return of the king,
Yeah,
baby.
return. Um,
Near who would win in a fight, a strike witch or a girl's unpanther?
Probably a Strike Witch because they can fucking fly. But so Strike Witches has been gone for a while.
Especially this. Can you tell us a little bit more about specifically this sequel, right? Because it has.
What do you mean?
Because this thing was slated to come out way before this, right? And then
Oh
it
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah. So Strike Witches season 2 came
this
out
one, right? Oh yeah,
in 2010, right?
right, yeah.
Which
And
is a
then
while ago. Um, and Strike Witches season 3 obviously was slated to come out, not that long
like
after season 2.
2012, 2012-ish.
Yeah, ish. Um, and obviously that didn't happen. Um, they ran into some issues, and over the course of the last 10 years, they've released like a movie here, some OVAs there. Um, but for some reason, uh, every time they tried to like be like, hey, yeah, what about season 3? It just kind of fell apart. Um, whether that be production issues or whatever. Um, but now it's finally out, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been a bit. Um, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty good. So Strike Witches as a series is basically, it's not super deep. It's a like
Yeah, yeah.
it's a pseudo magical girl series where
With
there's young
puns.
girls. Um, they don't wear pants, and they're magical girls, and they have airplane parts strapped to their legs,
And they
and they
fly around.
shoot aliens. It's about
Wait,
it, really.
It's pretty much like the thing is, it's like if you think about it, it's pretty much trying to take the magical girl thing and just adding more things that specifically like Japanese otakus like. You know what I mean? Because it's like if you
Yeah,
think about this, it's like the World War kind of like Nazi whatever, but like shooting guns, etc. kind of thing, right? And it has exactly what Pirate Ideal said, and it has the cat ears, and it has the school uniforms, and it had or the sailor crew, right? The sailor uniforms, right?
yeah,
And it has the pantsu, and it has sometimes the bloomers and stuff like that, right? So it's like there's like take all the fetishes, take all the Japanese otaku specific fetishes, and put them into a series.
yeah. Really, the best way to like describe um Strike Witches is basically like, it's like if you just had like a fucking, I guess like a hot pot of genres, and you just fucking threw them in, and then you added like a military otaku shit,
If you
and then
if you went deep into a bookstore in Akihabara and you found some sort of military otaku in a bookstore, right, in a hentai
yeah,
bookstore, and you're
yeah,
like, make a series for us.
yeah, make a series for that guy, and it's like okay. Um, but yeah, so Strike Witches has is pretty long history. It came out a very long time ago. Uh, I think the first season was done by what? It wasn't David Pro, right? It was like Lurche or something.
Wasn't it? It wasn't Diomedia, right?
I don't think so. But
I'm gonna be kind of weirded out if it was like Silverlink or like Satellite or something like that.
let me look.
No, I'm on it. It is by Gonzo. What?
Gonzo, holy shit, dude!
Holy
That's a studio I haven't heard of in a long time.
That's a studio I didn't expect that. No, but I guess I did expect it because it's like they did a Rosario Vampire too.
Yeah, I mean, back then, Gonzo was kind of like they were kind of like the fan service studio, right? So
Yeah,
I guess
which was weird because it's like so. Okay, this is. I'm not kidding. This is actually like a history of this, right? So in 2006, right, they did Welcome to the NHK. This is for the summer-ish fall. Like this is back in the time where like people actually didn't do like that much like strict like fall summer like 12 episode seasons. So this is NHK July through December-ish, right? And then they did Afro Samurai, right? then they did Bokurano. Then
Yeah.
they did Kazeno Stigma. So it's like up to this, you're like, okay, I guess I can even maybe see like, maybe like Mappa or some people like doing some shit like that, right? Or whatever, right? Then then they do My Bride is a Mermaid, into I believe that's Seto no Hanayome, right? Or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Into Rosario Vampire, into Strike Witches, into Rosario Vampire season 2, into
Yeah.
Saki.
Wow.
Yep, yep.
Kurogane no line barrel. That's fancy.
Yeah, Gonzo was a very interesting studio. Unfortunately, they suck ass now. So
Yeah,
I,
they're
like
they're
the
definitely
the last thing they did looked like melting plastic. So
Hey.
Oh, they did PSO 2. Is that the last season thing that they did?
That doesn't
uh, the last thing I remember them doing is 18F, which was
Oh,
horrendous.
God.
what about Conception? Wasn't that super cool looking?
I think so, yeah. But yeah.
Anyways, keep going.
So Strike Witches started with Gonzo.
Mhm.
And personally, I think the first season is pretty dated. Like it looks pretty dated. Which is understandable, I guess. But season 2 was done by a different studio, and then
AIC.
yeah,
AIC.
and now it's done by David Pro.
AIC, by the
Uh,
way, they are the ones that did. Well, I think I'm not sure if they actually did it or like they helped, but they did some stuff like Amagami. They had or Amagami season 2. Yeah, no, Amagami is both seasons. They did Sora no Toshimono. Did they do? Oh wow, they did Oreimo. They did Oreimo, uh, Makenki. They did a lot of big stuff actually.
right.
But anyways, go on.
Yeah. So season 3 is now with David Pro.
Yes.
But if you go back through the series, you'll see that the director and the character designer for the entire series is one man. So uh, obviously, Strike Witches is sort of like, I don't know if I'd really call it his passion project, but it's like it's his, right?
Right.
Like he designed the
And
characters,
also
he's directing it, he's
it's
the
not
one
exactly
taking it.
like
Yeah, he's
yeah.
the one taking it to multiple studios. Like he's the guy that wants to get it done. So I guess respect to him.
Yeah.
But yeah. As for like season 3, I think so far there's only 2 episodes out, but it's really all you need to talk about Strike Witches. Season 3 starts off where it's like, I think it's been like a year or 2 since the last season. Um, timeline wise, um, and one of the characters, Sakamoto, is like she's not a witch anymore because she got too old. Because in Strike Witches, after you turn 20, you can't use magic anymore. Because Japan.
Because you're fucking
Um,
old and busted, dude.
yeah. And so the 501st
Reality.
Division, which is like the team that all the Strike Witches are in, or all the best Strike Witches are in, um, has to be like reformed, so they're all like spread out. And then it goes to our main character Miyafuchi, which is the short brown-haired girl with the fox ears, and she gets into some shenanigans, and then she has to fight a giant fucking space alien that's disguised itself as an iceberg, which is weird because usually the aliens don't like water, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Over the course of the episode, it's just like basic fan service with action, and then episode 2 it goes in and it gets the entire team together, and then it's like, hey, by the way, there's a new member of the 501st Division, and the premise of the series is like, as the name of the season suggests, is they're starting the counter assault to retaking Berlin, right? Um, so assumedly this is the final season of Strike Witches. Um,
Is it the final season because this is the end of World War II? They're finally defeating Germany,
yeah,
Berlin. I get it. That's
yeah.
smart.
Except Berlin's their home, but yeah.
And why are they
Um,
going? Why is it called the Road to Berlin? Are they taking it back from the Nazis?
they're taking
Taking it
back
back
from
from
the
the
aliens.
Yeah.
So like,
Okay.
season 3 starts off with a recap. Well, a sort of recap. It basically just sets up like what the world is, what Strike Witches are, and what the enemy is. Um, and basically, these weird alien things suddenly invaded Earth, and they decided to take over Europe, starting with Berlin. Um, and like conventional weapons like don't work against them. So they made young girls strap airplane parts to them and use magic to shoot them.
As you do.
Obviously, step 2.
Yeah.
And thus spawned an entire genre of anime series that are like,
Um so season 3 is pretty solid, I guess, in terms of like just as a Strike Witches sequel. It looks pretty good. Um as you would expect, there's a decent amount of CGI because obviously animating things flying through the air is very hard, and so most studios are gonna just be like, yeah, just CG it. Um, but for what 2D animation is there, it's pretty solid. Uh, Pretty much all the explosions and stuff are like computer effects, which is a little disappointing because obviously hand-drawn explosions are very nice.
yeah.
Um, but the action is pretty good. It was really cool, just as like a long term like Strike Witches watcher, I guess. In the second episode, where like all of the characters are like fighting together, pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, if you like Strike Witches, I guess watch it. Although I'm not too sure, like I feel like season 3 on its own, you could probably watch it. Like if you haven't watched previous Strike Witches stuff, just because they recap it. They introduce the characters back, like not necessarily at like a natural pace, but like they introduce them slow enough to be like, okay, like I understand what this character's like personality is supposed to be, right? Um, but yeah,
Can I?
So
Yeah.
is it better than the movies?
um, I mean, I think there's only one movie, and then there's like a couple OVAs, right?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the OVAs personally because um, I think they were supposed to be about like, like uh, civilian life, I guess, like peacetime or whatever. Um, but I liked the movie. It was pretty good. But I don't know. I mean, these t- 2 episodes are pretty good. Hopefully, it's like just as good, right? But yeah, I mean, it's solid.
Can I? So, this sort of, I guess, on the subject of you talking about, you can't really get into, it's a little bit weird to just kind of jump into the third season, but obviously, maybe if this might speak to some people who want to get into maybe start from the first season or whatever, right? Or get into Strike Witches, uh, franchise in general, right? From this point in time, but as we just discussed, there are sort of Strike Witches did inspire this sort of subgenre, right? You could say of magical girls ish, right? Um, where it's just girls flying around with pantsuit, transforming, having all these whatever otaku fetishes stuck onto them, right?
Yeah.
Fighting in previous world wars, steampunk, whatever stuff, right? And a lot of, again, series are inspired by this. One that I rather covered last week, right? Warlords of Secret Rifa, right? You could argue that that sort of thing was also inspired essentially by Strike Witches,
I
right?
mean, personally, I would go so far as to say that like Strike Witches paved the way for a series like Girls in Pantsuit. You know.
Oh yeah, I mean, Girls in Panzer, Vivid Red Operation. Maybe I would say Girls in Panzer is a little bit more like sort of like a Saki clone ish, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, again, as you said, it has these Strike Witches paved the way for very like outlandish, like transform into tanks, into girls with fucking this and that and whatever and the other thing. And what's strange to me, or I can't exactly put my finger on it, but if you could maybe throw out some ideas, that would be helpful. But it's like, why do you like watching, say, Strike Witches, right? Versus say Warlords of Secret Reef, right? Do you think there's some sort of nuance that like makes Strike Witches have that sort of charm, right? That mystique that I think it does have that sort of mystique and that sort of like bombastic like nature, right? Versus
Yeah, I mean, Strike
something
Witches
like,
definitely has something about it, like something about the tone, or
would you
just
say
like the
something like
way.
Vivid Red Operation copies that pretty well? Or would you say that even something like Vivid Red, which is very obviously sort of like, the daughter, like the daughter of Strike Witches, do you think it doesn't copy that as well?
Um, I don't know. I feel like Vivid Red, like it took itself. I don't want to. I don't really want to say more seriously because
Mhm.
neither of those series are like very serious, like
Right,
at
right,
all.
right, right.
Um, but I don't know. It's. I feel like Vivid Red was a little bit more like. This is so weird to say. I feel like Vivid Red was a bit more like, yeah, fan service. We've got it, right? And then like the other aspects, like the
Or
magical
even
girl
even maybe
aspects,
like it was
were
standard more magical girl than it was than Strike Witches was, right? In a sense.
maybe, I don't know, but like I feel like Vivid Red was a bit more like, yeah, pantsuit in your face, also magical
Right,
girls, by the way.
right,
Whereas
right,
like
right.
Strike Witches is like it's got a bit of a different balance, right? Because it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, pantsuits in your face, but also guns and explosions and magical girls, and like there's character comedy and stuff like that. I
Do you
feel
think
like
so? So do you think that the I guess, not to make the pun, but the sort of striking point about Strike Witches is that sort of balance of the fetishes, or do you think that the major point behind Strike Witches is the fact that they have that baseline, but then it's also like somehow like really good with the character?
yeah, maybe it's just like the cast or something. I'm not sure. Like there's some sort of there's some key element in Strike Witches where it's like
Right.
it can balance all of these aspects, right? Like because there's so many facets to like what
Right.
what Strike Witches is, right? Like there's so many different aspects to it, which is a large part of why like Strike Witches, in my opinion, is kind of hard to recommend to people, is because like
Right.
there's so many different aspects.
It's like a stew with everything, but somehow it succeeds.
Yeah, there's something in there that's like it just works, right?
Right.
And maybe it's just the characters, maybe it's just the fact that it's one guy that's like really passionate about making girls with no pants fly through the sky. I don't know.
In World War II, right? Exactly.
But like there is
Near,
definitely some aspect to Strike Witches that like it works better than like every series that Conan have tried to
Right.
follow in its footsteps, you know?
near. Don't you like Melt Lilith?
Yeah, I
So
do.
so you're saying you like robot feet, right?
Um, I I mean I do like the Strike Witches designs a lot. It's kind of a huge aspect of the series, yeah.
So you see, you like the robot feet, while I prefer Vivid Red because it's got the super cool mecha transformations better.
Yeah, I mean Vivid Red's transformations were super cool, but I feel like the series like I don't know. I feel like the series
Like the
was
overall valuation of the series, rather,
yeah,
right?
it was a bit more skewed in one more aspect as opposed to Strike Witches, right? Which I mean, not like a bad thing, right? Because obviously there are people out there like Toast that like Vivid Red more, um, and that's perfectly valid. But
Right.
I do think Strike Witches does have like some aspect to it that's like it puts it a bit above.
I think maybe one year what I think of maybe Vivid Red versus Strike, which is also something like if Vivid Red had been a series of gifs on Twitter or like a series of like clips on Twitter, kind of just showing the general transformation, like monsters blowing up scene, right? It would have been, it wouldn't have lost that much value, I would say, right? But if Strike Witches were just the gifts of the girls flying around, it would have lost much more value, if that makes sense,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, Vivid Red had very cool transformations, very cool fight
Good,
scenes.
very good transformation. Oh
But
my god.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
guess I
yeah.
just didn't like the cast as much.
Mhm.
But yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to ask you that question because there are I mean not so many, but there are continually like these series obviously coming up because of they strike a chord with otakus, right? But it's like to me, I feel like none of them have really struck a chord, like really kind of cemented a place. Oh, damn, that's the series as much as Strike has, right? So
Yeah, yeah. I feel like Strike Witches and Girls and Panzer are like the two like predominant series for like
right,
the military otaku. Um, but Strike Witches kind of is capable of standing like on its own without the
right,
military otaku stuff. You know what I mean?
right,
I mean, obviously, there's people that like Girls and Panzer that aren't like huge World War II buffs and like they're super anal about like the tank like specifics and shit.
right,
Um, some people just like watching the cute girls shoot each other in tanks, right?
right,
Um, but I do think Strike Witches has something that's like, yeah, I could just watch this and I don't really care about necessarily the fact that it's like pseudo World War II Europe and it's got like planes and uh boats and stuff like that. Maybe that's like the magical girl aspect
right.
coming into play more. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a cool series. But again, I do think it's a tricky series to recommend to people, right?
Right,
Just
right,
because
right.
like you can recommend Shrek Witches to someone and be like, yeah, it's this cool magical girl series, and it's got like guns and shit, and like, oh, that's cool, and then they'll watch it and it'll be, yeah, I didn't like the pantsuit, and then it's like, oh, okay. Or
Yeah.
you can
And
recommend
you
someone.
can't really say anything against it, right? Because it's like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
you can recommend someone who's looking for like an edgy series or something, right? And you're like, oh well, Strike Witches has girls flying around and it's constantly showing their butts and stuff, and they never wear pants. And then somebody could watch that and be like, yeah, I didn't really like the action stuff that much. And it's like, oh, okay,
yeah, exactly, exactly.
there's a lot of aspects of Strike Witches that can um like turn people off of it, but I feel like I don't know, Strike Witches just has a really cool like balance to it.
Right.
Yeah,
It
it's
has
a
a
good
mystique.
series. Um, I feel like if you're looking to get into Shrek Witches, I'd probably start with like season 2 personally because again, I do think season 1, while it is very charming, it looks a bit dated.
Mhm.
Just due to the fact that it was Studio Gonzo in like 2010. Um, But yeah, I would recommend Strike Witches as like a series because it's a really cool series. But yeah, just keep in mind there's a lot of parts to it that might
Yeah.
like turn you off. But it's cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Again, it has this mystique. It's very hard to. That's very hard.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you, Nier, for covering definitely one of the bigger names of this season, Strike Witches, Road to Berlin, also essentially season 3. And last but definitely not least, we come to Dark. What do you have for us to?
I have a show called where is it? Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes.
So yeah, we
Mappa show, I
first
believe,
talked
right?
about this, huh?
Yeah,
Mappa
it's
show.
Mappa.
Yeah, this is Mappa. This
Directed by the
is
same guy that did God of High
Garo
School.
Vanishing Line as well, I believe.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Am I insane? I don't think
believe
so.
so,
I
yeah.
think it's the same
Is
director.
this also a Crunchyroll original or no?
I don't think so.
I don't
It's on
think
Crunchyroll, but I
so.
don't think it's a Crunchyroll original because I
Okay.
haven't seen that on like any of the cover art.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like you can also get it on Amazon. So, yeah, it's definitely not a Crunchyroll original. But yeah, let's see. Producer, yeah, they're not under the producers either. So we first spoke about this during the previews, and I wasn't really sure about it just because it's like, I like Garo. I liked Garo because, you got big dude transforms into big gold dude and punches shit and cuts stuff up, and that was pretty cool. And this is just like some guy. Just kind of like multiple, just like some guy. Fights like demon things, which, the demons could have cool designs, but either way, I was kind of on the fence about it. But I watched an episode and a little bit of episode 2 because I want to save it for myself. But boy, was episode 1 really good. It's so the basic premise is it's just like some guy, like a high schooler, is in a he wants to join like an occult club, like he likes occult stuff, like ghosts and everything. But he's not really like super afraid of them. And like one day he's talking to his grandfather in like the hospital, and his grandfather's like, you should at least try and like he drops like some ominous line like try and help, like even if you only help like one person, like at least like save one person. Don't be like me. And then he literally rolls over on his side and dies. Right
Yeah,
then
he
and
just
there.
fucking dies immediately.
Yeah, just like,
Gotta just get out of the way.
but it's very bizarre because he's like in a hospital, but he's not like hooked up to anything. So like he just dies and like it's silent. Like okay, like, I guess that seems odd, but sure. But yeah, so that just kind of kicks off where he meets like he meets like this ominous person who's been like tracking him, and he's like, I tracked a cursed object to you. Where is it? And so they open a box and then they find out, oh shit, he doesn't have it. The classmates have it. And it's this like gnarled up, like mummified finger that's supposed to be extremely cursed and was kept at the school to like ward off demons or something, like ward off cursed, like other curses. But eventually, I think it's like over time they like lose their power enough to where like demons will come and try and eat it, or like other curses will come and try and eat it to just gain power. So yeah, so his classmates open it, releases like curses. Curses come to like get it. They get attacked, and then our main character, Itadori Yuji, like flying kicks through like the second floor window.
Yeah, I don't know how he does that, but
I don't know. He does a lot of things.
they were
but
in
like,
the fourth floor. They were on the fourth
oh
floor.
yeah,
He
And
flies through the window.
yeah, and he flying kicks through the window. Now, granted, earlier on in the episode, he throws like one of those like what are those called?
The
Like the
steel
Olympic
balls,
ball.
the
Yeah,
chocolate
like
balls.
yeah, he throws one of those like. I don't even know, like 30, what is it, like 30 meters or
32
something?
meters.
Yeah, 32 meters and like destroys a soccer goal with it, like the poles on
He's
it.
got chimp strength.
Yeah, so he's I don't know, they called him like the tiger or something because he's super fast, but then like one of his friends was like, seems more like a gorilla to me. And so yeah, he's just really strong for whatever reason. But yeah, so he like grabs his friends from the curses and saves them because his whole motivation now is like, after seeing his grandfather die, he's like, well, everyone has to die, but like everyone will die, but no one should die like this. Which I think is going to be a pretty interesting like premise. Like I guess like it's pretty basic, but I think that is like a motivation is kind of interesting. We'll see if that actually like even goes anywhere.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's a little less generic than I want to be the strongest.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, because it's like I think it's interesting. It's more interesting that he has like an actual like pretty clear motivation for saving people that isn't just like I want to be strong or like I want to be a hero. It's like no one should go out like this, which I think is interesting enough to keep me hooked for him. I don't know too much about the other characters except for like the black-haired guy, Fushiguro Megumi. He just kind of like shows up, hunts, like seems to be working with an organization. But yeah, so anyway, I guess like the wrap up of the premise in episode 1 is that Yuji eats the finger because he's like
What?
getting captured. Yeah, he's getting captured, and the guy's like, "You can't kill a curse without like another curse, man." And so since he's like
Right.
grabbed by a curse, it was pretty much like all or nothing, and he just eats the finger. And
So instead of like cutting his own finger off and putting on the other finger, he just eats it.
Yeah, he
And
eats
yeah,
it. Swallows it
yeah,
whole.
yeah. And Fushiguro is like, "There's a one that'll kill him instantly. It's a poison, but there's a 1 in a million chance." And like he immediately just busts out of the demon's arm and like kills it in like one hit. But he's got like these markings all over him, and he's got like 4 eyes, 2 more of them under like at his like cheekbones, and he's like very obviously possessed. And it just in episode 1 at least, it ends with him over just sheer force of will overpowering like the curse, like possession. And that's like kind of where it leaves off. It seems like the series is just going to go to where, he's going to be executed because it's a really dangerous curse, or like, given the ultimatum, like you can either do that, or if you can prove you can control it, you can work for us, or we can keep an eye on you. But so far the action was really good. I liked it a lot. The soundtrack I liked quite a bit as well. I would like to know who's doing it. I don't know if it's the person who's listed as the sound director on Mall. But if it is, this is the same sound director as quite a few things. I would say the most notable things was, or the most notable one to me, honestly, is probably Kokoku, because I thought the like soundtrack and like the actual like sound design in that was really good. But I'm not sure if it's soundtrack
Yeah, there are a couple.
or just
There are a couple of people that are listed. There's Hiroaki Tsumi, Yoshimatsu Terui, and or Terui Yoshimasa and Okehazama Arisa. I believe. Let's.
Okay, Hazama is the same guy that did music for God of High School, so it's probably
Yeah.
that guy.
Okay.
If I had to guess, that's probably the main guy.
Okay, yeah. And then I guess the sound director is just like the actual just shows
Like
based
sound
effects
effects and
sounds.
shit.
Yeah.
Alright.
Which are also quite good. So like the full package is pretty good. There's some iffy parts I feel like with some of the animation, but overall like the style of it kind of makes up for like some more awkward stuff and the
Yeah,
directing. The
I
fights,
mean,
I don't
it's
know
Park
if this was just
Sung-hoo,
me.
which is the same guy who directed God of High School and Goro Vanishing Line.
Yeah.
He's a very talented animator, so
Yeah, and also this doesn't like this is obviously like the curses are CG in a lot of it, but it's blended quite well. At least I'm pretty sure it's CG. Looked CG, but it's blended quite well. The style's quite good. Definitely a step up from Vanishing Line in the sense that these fights are a lot easier to follow. Like just visual, like they're a lot clearer as to what's happening.
yeah, very fluid.
Vanishing Line, while some of the fights were pretty clear and like pretty fluid, there were also like others that were very, very jarring with like how fast everything was moving. But this, while fast, it's very clear as to where the characters are, what exactly they're doing,
So
etc.
it's almost like an improvement. I mean, which is kind of rare, and especially in this sort of current sort of COVID scenario.
Yeah, I mean,
You would
and also the fact that it's like, I, I don't think is this original? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure this is
Or it's
manga original.
manga. Okay, this is manga original. Either way though, like, I mean, Goro is pretty fucking big, so like for this to be a step up was pretty surprising to me. Like I figured, if anything, like Goro would have been pretty high up there, but I feel like even for Goro's episode 1, like granted, yeah, I've only seen episode 1 so far, but just from like Goro Vanishing Line's opening and Goro Vanishing Line's like episode 1, I'm like, this kind of blows that out of the water. Which is very surprising.
Right.
But yeah, it seems pretty good. It's very like it's got a lot more, at least for episode 1, it had a lot more comedy than I expected, which was quite nice too. Because I do hope that this series does keep up like a good mix because the main character, like that is also what I liked about Garo as well, is that it had like a bunch of weird shit, but it also did definitely have like quite a bit of comedy because you can't really have a series with a main character that says like just kind of just nonsense as like these and then just not have much comedy, I feel. So thought that was pretty good.
Do you think this has the? I guess. I mean, it's already in Shonen Jump, right? It's like an actual Shonen Jump series, but
It is a very popular series, yes.
yeah. Do you think this is it already blowing up in the West here, or what's?
Yes, this is probably the
Yeah,
most
this
popular
has
series of
gotten
the season
very
right
popular.
now.
Yeah, which
So,
also kind of had me a little concerned because I was like, is this just going to be like very basic, like bullshit? But I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
it's at least episode 1's like it's pretty straightforward, but as far as like just the full package, I feel like it's kind of refreshing to see something with like more like I don't even I guess I shouldn't even say more. I just guess like this style and these visuals is quite nice to see just because I quite like it.
Right.
yeah.
And I thought that Vanishing Line was very underrated. And it's cool to see this blow up.
Okay.
And, hopefully people will go back and look at the Garo stuff more because of that. But we'll see.
All right. Thank you for helping to cover Jujutsu Kaisen again, series that's blowing up right now.
I just want to
Yeah.
say, really cool aspect of this series though is the monsters, right? So the monsters are supposed to be like
Uh,
manifestations of like curses, right?
mhm.
Um, and there's this small touch where uh when they bleed, um, they actually bleed kanji, right? Which are what I
Oh, that's so
assume
cool. Yeah.
are like saying like what the curses are, like the emotions or
Yeah,
you know.
it's like those it's like how like the slips of paper like for like junk shit and stuff like that, right? It's
Yeah,
like they have the slips of paper on their heads, or like the thing where like Mikos or like exorcists use like the slips of paper, right, with the
yeah,
kanji on them. It's kind of like that.
yeah. It's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, or
that shit.
like the Arc 1 driver from the hit series, Kamen Rider 01.
Oh, jeez. Anyways, yeah, definitely a series to look out for. Please do check it out if you like this sort of stuff. Thank you, Dark, for helping to cover it. Definitely one of the bigger series that we did want to get to. And with that, we are going to move on to the news. So, not much news this time around. A little bit of anime industry news, a little bit of people news, and then can quickly move on. But first off, something that, again, if you have been a long time viewer of the podcast, you're probably not going to be too surprised by this. The financial research firm Teikoku Databank published a report on the anime industry for 2019 on Monday. The report noted that anime industry revenue, based on the revenue from 273 companies, amounted to 242.75 billion yen, which is around 2.3 billion US dollars in 2019. While the industry is still in a growth period since 2011, 2019's 0.5% increase in revenue is the lowest year-on-year increase um, in I believe 11 years. The report noted that while 2019 is the fifth consecutive year that there have been more than 300 anime productions in a single year, it is also the second consecutive year of decrease in total productions uh, since the peak of 356 productions in 2017. The year
Christ.
2018 saw 340 productions, and 2019 had 332. The industry had a total of 322 productions. Um, Average revenue for a company was about 900 million yen, which is around 8.5 US million dollars in 2019. The average company revenue peaked in 2007, prior to the burst of the quote unquote anime bubble, when it amounted to 1 billion yen, which is around $9.5 million in current conversion. So outsourcing and prime contract work was around 1.6 US million dollars of the total industry revenue in 2019, up about 3.7% from the previous year. Blah blah, so on and so forth. The report also noted the trend towards capital tie-ups, collaborations, and acquisitions to facilitate the production of anime, particularly from abroad. 2019 saw only 2 anime companies declare bankruptcy and 1 dissolution, compared to 12 companies departing the industry in 2018. The report noted that this reduction was largely due to manpower shortages, labor costs, and subcontracting costs beginning to level out in 2019, although it also cited unpaid or delayed payment to animators as primary reason for bankruptcy. The report's forecast for future problem points that for the industry include shortfalls in total manpower and training that might be unable to keep up with increased demand, despite foreign investment from abroad. In this state, productions are likely to see tight production schedules and corresponding decreased productivity, which may result in decreased revenue in the very long term. The thing is, like, blah, blah, prospects for 2020 and beyond are likely to include more adjustments to better work conditions for animators. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Please, I fucking beg you, pay your
Please.
employees. Holy shit.
Um, but all about this reflects growing
And
awareness of
also,
workplace
wild
conditions.
idea. Sell your works properly.
The thing
For
is,
fuck's sake.
I don't, I think this report is being a little bit dishonest in saying that the forecast is like all due to like it's decreased, not enough manpower, blah blah, and they just because that sort of points to the solution being the current thing where essentially, as we talked about
Yeah,
subsidies, right?
where
Government
the
subsidies,
the Japan government just pumps money into the industry.
right? Or like other
Oh,
people just pump money,
just
right?
train more people, forehead.
Yeah.
No, that's not the solution.
But the
I
thing is,
mean,
as
it's
you can
also
see,
like that's not why you're understaffed, bro.
the thing is, if you look at if you read between the lines for this problem, right? What's happening right now? There's still a lot of productions, right? 350 something productions in a single year, right? But the revenue is decreasing, right? While all the companies are still kind of getting money for some reason, but it's still like you know what I mean? There's a bunch of money being made. There's a bunch of studios kind of making a bunch of anime, right? But the revenue is slowing down. What does that mean? That means essentially, right? First, there's not enough sort of money coming in, which means obviously they're not selling as much. I wonder why. Um, and this again, this is before COVID, right? Because this is 2019, right?
Yeah.
So they're clearly not properly selling as much, right? And because they're maintaining that sort of level of 350, 300, however many uh, anime productions, right? Amongst all these companies, right? 270 something companies, they're probably dogfighting amongst each other, right? For the money, right? They're not. It's not like if two studios had a lot of, if a couple of studios, 100, 50 to 100 studios had a bunch of these series, obviously they would all have more revenue, they would all have more money to spend, blah blah blah. But they're all kind of fighting amongst each other because there's 300 billion companies making fucking 300 billion series, right? So again, it kind of points I think this report's conclusions are a bit disingenuous when they're saying like, "Oh, we just need to hire more people. They're just, we just need to make the companies work harder."
We need to
When
hire
it's
more
clear,
people so that we bring in less money anyway still.
yeah, exactly, because the revenue
And
is the
don't
problem,
pay them either.
right? Because it's not like they're still at this near record high of the number of productions. So making more productions, making 400 anime series, I don't think is going to create that much more revenue, right?
I mean,
It's like
especially if people are already underpaid now and you're understaffed. Like
exactly.
trying to throw more staff and more series at this problem, you're literally like, what is that even called? Like, I don't
It's
even know
just
what that.
oversaturation of the market, right?
Or
It's
it's like
Just
yeah,
you're
money
getting like
everywhere.
diminishing returns more
yeah,
and more
diminishing returns right, on
of
investment.
this to the point where it's like this isn't going to do anything. Like you need to pay these people properly, but it's like also you need to actually like sell these works like properly. You can't. I don't know. I still think that
Yeah,
like
hey, are
anime is
you
in a
saying
place
that
where it's like
bottleneck?
yeah, I mean, there's that. There's like, there's no ease of access. Like,
Yeah,
there's no decent way to like purchase these series for like any semi-reasonable price.
yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous at this point. It's like you don't like you're. I don't know. You're not bringing in much money,
The
and
thing
then
is,
it's like, oh
a lot
well,
of
the
people are
only way
still
we're
kind
gonna get in a foreign market is through like fucking streaming services that don't bring us in money anyway. Like,
of right, exactly.
okay.
And
It's like there
also,
are
it's
other
like
ways to do it.
a lot of people are like the companies like especially the manga companies, right? Who kind of realize this early because all their fucking magazines are not selling, right?
Yep.
um, they start digitalizing, but what's really frustrating is even in the digitalization process, you can kind of see hints of their very not efficient, not forward-looking, conservative policy kind of heading out, where it's like they have their manga readers, right? And they're not really these manga readers are not really competing with, say, the free aggregation sites or the manga piracy stuff, or they're not equipped to deal with this sort of widespread publication. It's much more of a sort of like, yeah, it's a manga reading app that we have, right? It's not something like say, again, like some sort of like Instagram or Facebook, or like free, like viral sort of social media ish kind of thing, like platform, media spreading platform. It's just like, yeah, we have our manga, but it's digital now, bro. Like, so it's really frustrating. It's so frustrating that they're just relying on subsidies for this instead of, again, trying to globalize and digitalize properly. It's really frustrating. But yeah, anyways, enough of our rants, but hopefully, well, I mean, I think 2020 is a foregone. It's gone. Like, this year is fucking fucked. But I
Yeah,
hope that in 2021,
I doubt it.
it's going to be very weird. I don't know. Like, at this point, I seriously don't know whether Japan will go into the Japanese anime industry will go into like a weird like stagflation, like this weird thing where they're kind of plateaued here at this like record levels of contracting and sort of anime production, but they're not paying their shit and all this crap. I wonder if they'll kind of plateau and then kind of do weird shit, right? Or if there'll be a second anime bubble. But again, it's just so.
We'll see.
Anyways, yeah. Second funnier piece of news. The president of the Universal Society of Hinduism, Rajan Zed, made a statement on Monday criticizing the depiction of Hindu deities in manga. The the Universal Society statement, addressed comics and urged the company, quote unquote, not to trivialize Lord Shiva and other highly revered Hindu gods and goddesses in
Man,
its manga publications.
it's a good thing that guy hasn't seen Gacha games.
Yeah. Also,
Uh,
hey man, never, don't you ever dare say that Shiva is trivialized in Grand Blue.
Rahan Zed has previously
Quite
released
good.
statements regarding the depiction of the Hindu deity Krishna in Sega's Shin Megami Tensei 4 final role-playing video game, the character
Jesus Christ.
Apocalypse in the X-Men Apocalypse film, and the depiction of the goddess Kali in the Smite multiplayer online battle arena game.
Smite.
Dude.
I'm going for yeah, that's true. You shouldn't have that. You shouldn't have Hindu gods up there with all the other gods and also the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, Jesus. Anyways, hopefully his words of message will be taken in productive ways. So
Yeah, and then Cygames makes like 3 more Shiva costumes.
I'm surprised I'm surprised Fate's not on that list. That has like so many Indian heroes in it.
and like just people like portrayed and interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for non-person news for now, and on to people news. Again, not much news here either. First, singer Konomi Suzuki Konomi, a very famous anime song singer, announced on Twitter on Friday that she will go on hiatus beginning in December due to surgery for vocal cord nodule. Suzuki said, I first came down with vocal cord nodules about 4 years ago, but I finally decided on surgery so I can keep singing for a long, long time from now. Suzuki is
What?
planning to return to her singing activities at the Animex Music's event at Ariake Arena in Tokyo in January 1st. Please wish her a very safe, surgery operation, and again, the speediest of recovery. Second, this one is pretty interesting. I usually, again, don't mention stuff like this, but I thought it would be pretty interesting. But Kuniko Ikuhara, who is the director of a very well-known series called Revolutionary Girl Utena, as well as more recently Sarazanmai, revealed during a New York Comic-Con Metaverse panel for the Revolutionary Girl Utena series on Saturday that he is quote-unquote working on his next work right now. He also said that although he's working on different anime from Revolutionary Girl Utena, he quote unquote always tries not to forget the sense of freedom that Utena gave him. So I guess watch out for that. And last piece of news. Oh wait, no, this is okay. So yeah, that's it for the people news for today, and we are moving on to our shoutouts and callouts. So everybody gets one shout out, one call out. The shout out can be anything again, praising whoever, complimenting them, buttering them up, for flattering, whatever you want to say. And it can be any one person, place, or thing. And of course, is the exact opposite. You can insult, rage, rant about anything, and it can be any one person, place, or thing. And we start with host.
What's up? Oh, my shout out? I don't know. What when you say shout out, you mean you're supposed to shout out something interesting that happened, but I've been pretty cool.
Something good. Something good.
Sure. All right.
could literally
I'll
shout
shout out. What?
So you could literally shout out the shit you brought up earlier.
That is true, yeah.
But I already brought it up. You can't do that twice. All right. I'll shout out Mamori Calliope's contest thing. Got to hear some pretty interesting indies that I was aware of doing covers of her songs. So I was like, damn. She's in it. She's in it to win it. She's in there. She's no longer an underground reaper. She's hanging with the big indies now, I guess. Cool. Good for her.
She was already hanging out with people that were big in the industry.
Well, now, even more. Have you heard of someone called? Where? Ah, she didn't put up the winners yet. What? How dare you? Yeah, very cool.
Okay, and your
Yeah,
call
yeah. Shout out to Hall Live, Ian. You guys are cool. Call out the fact that I can't watch the Fate movie yet.
out?
Let me buy the tickets. I have a I have a biohazard suit. I can wear that. Just let me watch the movie. Open your theaters already.
He has all the proper PPE.
Yeah, you just gotta think of the current situation like a zombie apocalypse.
At least
Well,
it's airing in your country.
but not yet.
Yeah, I don't think there's any plans
Theaters are
for
open
it to
yet.
even come over to Canada.
You see, all you gotta do, wear long clothing so the virus won't stick on you. Wear your masks. Cut your hair so the virus can't grab at it and eat you. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically,
Segregated seats, you know?
Become a thumb.
dude.
That's how it works, right? There's you got your seat, then you got another person sitting at least 2 seats away from you. You're safe. Bring a portable fan to blow the
I mean,
virus away.
you're really
Yeah.
not. You're not safe, regardless of how far you are. Like if you had one person at the back of the theater and another person at the front of a theater, you're still in like a closed space for close to 2 hours. Like,
You mean 4 hours? I gotta watch the double feature first.
yeah, I forgot they're doing that.
Is it worth the risk?
I
Probably.
mean, you're probably gonna get it anyway. Like, if you're
I-
going to a movie theater in the United States of America at any time within the next 24 months, you're probably going to get COVID-19.
I'm already in a hot spot all the
You
time.
probably
So
shouldn't be going to a movie theater.
if I haven't gotten it now, what are the chances?
Very
Hi.
high.
It's even higher when you're in a hot spot. So I'll take
Yeah,
no
and
chances. But if
higher
they'll
if
let
you're in
me.
a hotspot every day, you don't get it. So
Anyways,
So yeah. Let me in. You see that? Let me in meme? Yeah, let me in.
all right. Well, I am again praying for Toast every day so that he Hopefully, it doesn't get COVID.
Just like our president said, it's not that dangerous.
Yeah, you got to
Not that
dominate
bad.
it. You got to
It's not
dominate
that
Not
it.
that
bad.
Really
bad.
bad.
You have to,
Not that
you have to
bad.
dominate it.
It's not that bad,
Not
boys.
that bad, but it kind of is bad. But don't worry, it's not that
But
bad.
don't worry.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Anyways, what is it? Near. Shout out to callouts, please.
Shout out to Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0. It finally got a release date. God bless. Dude, if I gotta get COVID to watch the end of Evangelion, I know get COVID to watch the end of Evangelion.
No.
Alright?
I'm not talking about going to watch Evangelion. I'm just. It's gonna be another couple of months of Evangelion fans. I'm just gonna say that.
Hey man, you know, Evangelion has had a
A rough couple of.
Evangelion has had a persistent relevance for the past 25 years.
Oh, for sure.
And
I don't think anybody would debate that.
you know, the fact that this is the for now ending of the series, it's very exciting, right?
Right.
So obviously Eva fans have had it pretty rough for a while as these rebuilds have come out. They're very divisive, but it's exciting times, right? So I'm excited. It's probably gonna suck cock, but I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm excited. Call out. I'm gonna call out. I'm gonna call out idol groups. Because
Wait, what do you mean by like when you're talking about idol groups? Do you mean like
Don't
so
we
like
kind of
Momoyo?
have idol
Are you
groups?
talking about like Momoyo Clover Z kind of like Japanese
uh,
idol groups or AKB
Don't-
kind of shit?
Don't we
um,
count as an idol group? There's
I
four of
guess
us.
I guess sort of, yeah. So I was going through. I was listening to music a few days ago. Jamming. And I see this song in my recommendeds, and I click on it. I'm like, damn, this is bopping. And so I listened to more of this group's songs,
It's like Blackpink or something. Like, what do you? What was the group?
and I'm like, why are these members all different every time I click on a new song? What the fuck?
Uh-oh.
So I look up the group, and I see that there's a fucking wiki, and immediately red flags start popping up. Like, why the fuck is there a wiki? And so there's a timeline, right? And the group has gone through like 3 or 4 generations, and they all have different members.
Is
But they
this
keep
a 48 group?
no, it's BIS. It's some rock group, right?
Oh, okay.
Apparently they're like the predecessor to Bish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay,
but
okay. I'm on the
they
wiki, right?
they
Yeah.
disbanded, and then they had like a second generation, which lasted for like 4
Oh,
years.
this is like one of those like very kind of like theme based kind of
Yeah.
rock. Yeah.
And then the second generation disbanded, and then they like uh,
Holy shit.
a third generation got together like just recently in like the past couple of years.
Yeah.
But then
Hey,
a bunch of members
Dark.
dropped out
Yeah.
within like a week.
Can you pull up the wiki page for BIS, BIS, Japanese Idol Group, and then scroll just a little bit down to the right hand side page where it says past members? Can you pull that up right now on the screen?
Wow,
Let me
slave
see if I can
driver
pull
here.
that off.
Yeah, while you're talking.
This is gonna be a
Yeah.
very
So,
dangerous game we're playing here.
So I had to like go through all this fucking
browser.
rigmarole to be like, okay, like which album like am I looking for here? Because
I just put this in. Does that work?
if only like one generation is like the one I want to listen to, but they're all named the same thing. Like what the fuck am I gonna look up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't help the fact that the third generation.
Dude, there's a fucking timeline. There's a timeline with
there's a
like
fucking
graphs.
timeline, dude. It's
With like
insane.
graphs.
And it's like the third generation has an album with the same name as the first generation. It's like,
Oh
what
my
the
god.
fuck?
Wait, how do I use this?
It's
What
so
is
annoying.
this? This is not the
But,
right input.
But yeah, I hate that shit. Like these fucking like multi-generational group with like the same name, and it's like they don't like differentiate with like, I don't know, just like a number or something. Like
See, the thing is, like, the thing is, I don't think necessarily member replacements in itself are like, oh, the worst thing. But the thing is, if you look at it here, you see all this like, oh, we have our intention to graduate, and then there was like a voting period, and then there was a rental period, and then there was a first generation beast first debut, whatever, and then these other
yeah,
things
it's
left, and
like
then like, what the fuck is this, like,
Yeah, where's
voting period, graduation, whatever the fuck,
past
like, can we
members?
yeah,
Holy
it's like Beast
shit.
first debut, and then it's like they go for a bit, and then they disband, and then it's like second generation debut, they go for a bit and then disband, and then third generation debuts, and like one of the members drops out within like the first week, so then they get another member, and then it's like, oh my god, dude, just come up with a different name, please. It's so annoying.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like, I think, again, this sort of show, because it's like, it's really like this. We talked about a little bit about this before, in the podcast previously, right? And then again, one couple of really fucked up things about it, especially Japanese idols in specific, right? It's the fact that, like,
What is this
obviously
timeline? What is
obviously
crap?
inspired by this AKB48 kind of thing, right? But also just because of how Japanese idols are viewed in general with regards to, like, doing their stuff, where it's like less about the music and more just about having these groups of cute girls. Um, there's a lot of this stupid shit where they're like ranking the girls, and then they have these voting periods, and then after like a few years they like graduate, but they're kind of graduating to do weird shit and not really like, it's not like they're graduating into like, oh, I want to do a solo career kind of stuff, right?
yeah,
It's kind of graduating somewhere, go the fuck away kind of thing, right?
yeah,
It's
it's like, yeah, I'm graduating into a
get the fuck
position
out.
that's literally more obscure
Yeah,
and like,
exactly.
worse than the position I was previously in. It's like, oh,
Exactly, exactly.
okay.
If they like graduated and they become successful solo artists or do, that's one thing. But it's like, well, like, what's this whole like voting and ranking and graduating? Like, this bullshit is so bad. But yeah, as you can see on the screen, that is the timeline for all how the members kind of were diffused throughout the
Yeah,
lifespan of Beast.
it's pretty cool. But hey,
Anyways.
some of those songs are bangers, so it's all right.
uh, so, did you say your shout out yet?
Yeah, Ava.
Oh, right, yeah, I forgot Ava. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I guess
Fire, what's
I'll.
a shout out and call out?
Yes, yes. Um, my shout out is to winter themed visual novels. I have a very like.
You mean like Canon 2006?
Well, a little bit more like Amakana, like Yukiko kind of
You mean
stuff.
Canon? I'm pretty sure Canon was in the winter, wasn't it? I remember all the coats.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it's not, but I especially like kind of, yeah, like caught on after story. Well, I am not entirely sure about that. Please.
No, Clonette itself took place in spring with Sakura and
Yeah.
Blossom.
Well, I mean, there were different parts throughout the year, but anyways, there. So I have a very like sort of
Hold
soft
on,
spot.
Fire.
Yeah.
Was Cood Walter in the winter?
Kudu after?
Yeah.
I not as far as I know.
Doesn't she
It was
live
just
in a
sort of.
Siberian country or whatever?
She's from Siberia. It's not like they're all in Siberia. No, 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 no. The coup after is they're in Japan. But anyways,
So I was told that Cood Walter took place in her fancy Sri Lankan country or whatever, and it was what? I was lied to then.
yeah, I don't. That's
I thought I
no.
wrote that.
uh, Anyways, yeah, they're in the dorms and as is regular. But anyways, what I was going to say is I have a very like soft spot in my heart for like I'm a very sort of cheesy person at heart, so I really like
Oh,
that.
so
Like
you like winter's your favorite season?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite season,
The
but I
season of
really
death.
season of death. Yes, I just like it when everything just burns to the ground. But the thing is, I really like the sort of like having that sort of solid seasonal theme. You know what I mean? The snow kind of falling, and kind of snowy winter wonderland kind of thing, right? I've loved that sort of stuff in game RPG, MMORPGs. I love that stuff, as just like a theme and music. I just really like that sort of aesthetic. Um,
The opposite because I like winter in real life, but I like spring in my aesthetics.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has. I mean, I really like the tropical summer aesthetic too, but I like the out of like all the seasonal aesthetics, I like the winter stuff most. But anyways, I've been going through a couple of that again, Amakano, You Could Quite Melt, stuff like that, and I really like it. So shout out to that. My call out is to fucking what is it? Oh, the fucking sausages I bought. I thought like
Winter sausages, the
yes, the
white
winter
ones.
sausages. So I bought some like Polish sausages and stuff like that from like grocery store, and I was like, okay, well, I thought these would be okay. It's like they're not too expensive, but they're in the pack and they're Polish sausages, and they're shitty. They are so bad. And just like I swore to myself this week, I was just like this past week, I was just like, from now on, I'm only going to buy like really good like expensive sausage because the bad sausages are fucking shitty. Like I'm not no fuck this shit no more. So that although I am also the type to eat Vienna sausages, so I can't
Hey,
really say too much
hey,
about
hey! What's wrong with Vienna sausages? I live off of those for 5 years, and I turned out fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways,
You're saying our Filipino poor man's food isn't good enough for you, Spire?
no, I like Vienna sausages
Are
pretty.
you saying your Korean soy eggs are better than Vienna sausage over rice?
I'm saying that I can't poo poo too much on cheap food because I like Vienna sausages as well, right?
Now you're
So
gonna tell me that you hate pizza rolls or something.
I like pizza rolls, but I wouldn't
Totino's pizza rolls mixed in with some gamer fuel.
mix with
That's
some
that's
gamer fuel,
that's
sir.
that's that's
That's
Yeah,
called
like a
bloodline.
bowl
cuisine,
of
David.
cereal.
I'm fine with pizza rolls. I just wouldn't actively buy them at a store. But anyways,
This guy's
that
an
being
elitist.
sorry,
Oh,
I am
no
indeed a lead
wonder
for
he always talks about like he's some sort of food snob every time in the Discord.
that.
He's
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
I
you
just
got to do
hate
this and
pizza rolls.
this," but then this guy doesn't know what brown butter is. I
I
am never letting that
apologize.
go. The you're like some sort of fancy food scientist, but you don't know how to cook itself if you don't know how to brown your butter.
The butter.
I see through your lies, Spire.
I apologize. Anyways, yeah, so that's my call out there. Shitty sausages. I'm never going to buy shitty sausages again because they suck.
You know what you should do? You should buy the what is it? The cheddar wurst.
Yeah, I mean cheese sausages aren't too bad, but yeah.
You've ever had the Hillshire Farm or Johnsonville better cheddars? Oh boy, those are the real treat on the 4th of July. That's when you know you got a rich family over here.
I bought some andouille sausages recently, but I'm
And
gonna
oh, and Dewey. Oh boy, look at this guy bringing out
yeah.
the fancy and Dewey
No,
sausage.
well,
It's
I just bought it for gumbo purposes, but I really like
like what $15 andouille sausage? Oh, fancy Frenchman here. He's encroaching on your territory.
crouching upon your territory.
He's what is it? He's stealing your food liberties over here.
Uh,
Anyways, that's my call out. So that last but not least, Dark.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to Phasmophobia. That game is something else in VR. That's the scariest shit I've ever done. But extremely entertaining. Yeah, not really much else to say about that. I mean, I guess, I've seen enough people play it non in VR, and it still seems pretty scary and pretty fun.
Yeah, it's pretty spooky, dude.
You like how it's more than just a tuber game?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, honestly, like, I see tubers get scared, and I'm just like, this isn't even overreacting. Sin and I booted it up, just the two of us at one point, and like no one else in voice chat, and like we walked into a house, and I just got like this overwhelming feeling of dread. Like, I don't even want to, like, I don't want to play this. I don't want to be in this situation. And it's one of the very few times when like I've felt that. Like, I don't even know if I've really felt that way about a game in particular. Like, there was a time when it's like I had to put PT down because I was like, oh, it's too late at night. Like, I can't play something that's gonna make me yell like this late. But then,
Mhm.
like, the next day I played through it and I was like, this is cool and like scary as shit, but cool. But like Phasmophobia, I was just like, I want to get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't want to do this. So I'd highly recommend it to anyone who has, especially someone who has VR, and wants to get a little spooky shit going on for the month. Because, goddamn, it's awesome.
So you're saying it's more of a terror game than a horror game, right? That's when you
Yeah,
know it's
it's
something
not
special.
even, yeah, and it's also like not really too jump scary, like in the wrong ways. Like, it just builds up constantly to just like be horrible too. But it is really, really awesome. Yeah, I mean, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so like me and Sin, yeah, we were just in a room and plates, like it was probably from now what I've played, it was the earliest like happenings of a ghost. Like a plate flew off a table and I was ready to quit. Like I'm done with this shit. Like, yeah. It's a tuber game, but also like, especially in VR, like if you see a YouTuber or someone play it in VR and they're like yelling, like, yeah, no, it's
That's real,
it's
dude.
yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
fucking
mean,
scary.
I screamed for like probably the first time in the past like 5 years playing that game. So yeah,
Yeah, I forget when exactly it happened. I think it was when just me and Sin were playing and we like, that's what it, yeah. So me and Sin were playing and he like opened the door and like there's like a child ghost with like a weird maw face, and thank God it wasn't facing me when it popped up because he walked into a bathroom and it popped up right behind him, like in between him and the wall, so he didn't see it. But I just like screamed because all I see is him enter a bathroom and I know he can't see a fucking ghost right behind him for a split second. But that had me like actually like hands on my knees, like just done after that. So it was it's really cool. And the interactions are awesome. The fact that you can like you have to like talk to the ghost and ask you questions is cool. And just the ghost hunter gimmick like the travel channel shows or whatever, is
Mhm.
quite cool to see.
Okay. What about your call out?
Let me think. I'm gonna call out. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna call out. I'll just call out gotchas.
Bold.
For you.
Dude, yeah, I mean, look, dude, I had my first whaling experience. Like, I'm never doing that again. That sucks.
Wait, define whaling. Define whaling. How much money?
Oh, we're just
Because
gonna go right to
we're
that,
all.
huh?
I think we're all very.
Let's play high low. Let's play high low.
Yeah. Um.
600. Let's go start there.
No.
Okay, low.
Yeah. I want to say
300?
150. 150.
Yeah, how about we go a little higher?
300?
Dude.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Toast nailed it.
Yeah, that's about
300.
right.
Okay. 300 is a third of a spark.
Yeah,
Yikes, right?
yikes. A lot, yikes.
So that's a third of a spark, right, or whatever. Right? Yep.
Third of a spark. This was
approximately.
only in Genshin.
How much is that in terms of?
I
Like,
mean,
What
there
about the
are no
Genshin
sparks.
gacha? How does it work?
There are no
oh,
sparks.
okay.
So basically, like, now this is total. So like in the beginning, I just did like the double whatever
Mhm.
thing where it just like gives you the double like credits, and that's what got me my first like 2 SSRs.
Mhm.
And then the other day I was just like, I want Venti, and like I kept rolling for Venti, and it's like I wasn't getting him. And then I had to call the fraud department. And they had to list off my transactions. I was like, yeah, it's all me. But yeah, so now I have Venti.
Dude.
I feel less bad about it. But
You spent so
I'm
much
never
fucking money, dude.
I'm never doing that again. Yeah, that was the cost of the SSD I just bought. So pretty bad.
Yeah, this is like talking about this is already giving me PTSD to me fucking spending. The thing is, I was never quite. I guess I have to think about how much money I've spent across the years on both Love Life School Fest and on Starlights. Well, both on both Idol Master games, but I've never. I don't think I've quite hit whale status, but I've probably like the thing is I've always I kept spending like moderate amounts of money throughout the years on these games to the point where I'm just like I need to stop.
I mean, this is
guys.
literally
need
like
to
I think
stop.
double what I've spent on Grand Blue, like
Jesus Christ.
in
Is
the
it worth it?
like 3 years.
Was it worth it for this Chinese game? Chinese gacha game?
I mean,
No.
yeah. To quote the hero, as we all know, R. Kelly. My mind says no, but my heart, my body, yeah.
yeah.
Like my gut feeling was like, yeah. My mind the entire time is like, no. Like that was a terrible idea. And
I
I'm
think
never
across
doing that
like
shit again.
all the gacha games I've played, including Shadowverse, I've spent maybe like $150.
Yeah, I mean, Grand Blue's the only other gacha game I've spent money on at this point.
Because I bought in a lot of leaders in Shadowverse. So, you know.
Grand Blue's like
Fuck,
the
I
only
feel
gacha game I've spent money on,
I'm
and I think in the total of like the 3 years I've been playing it, I think I've spent like $160 maybe. Maybe
guys, there's so
180
many
because the
fucking
costumes.
transactions right now. I'm scrolling through my Google Play apps order history right now. I feel, oh my god, this is not good, guys.
Oh yeah, dude, my history that day looked horrifying in my bank
Oh
account. I was
my
like,
god.
I can never do this again.
Yeah,
And then I
don't.
say, yeah, I mean, it's bizarre too because Genshin has done this to like multiple people that I've seen and know that have played other gacha games completely fine. But for some reason, Genshin has just been like, gonna take your money and you're gonna
Is
like
it like, is there something cursed about the fucking like 0.6% rate that just makes people fucking like absolutely retarded with their money? Like,
I don't
because
know.
there's like the
Oh,
there's like the
I don't think it's
FGO
specific.
threads where some dude's like, yeah, I'm gonna sell my car for John Alder, and then he like doesn't get her.
Yeah, I was just like,
I think it's also the fact that Genshin Impact right now is a little bit more like a lot of people are getting into it that aren't completely used to just the
but I mean, it's like the
depravity of the
the
opposite.
other people I know who have spent like almost around the same have played gachas before. Like they've played Grand Blue, they've played like I don't know if they play Fate and stuff, but it's like they're very like in tune to gachas. But then it's like Genshin came out and it's like, oh yeah, just gonna completely throw caution to the wind. Oh, like whatever. Like I don't know, man. That new event in Genshin, like I saw a bunch of venties and it was really pissing me off.
Uh-huh. I don't know, dude. Like, the last time I spent money in FGO, I felt so fucking bad. Like, I felt like an
And
absolute
you know what?
loser.
And you know what? If they release that god costume for Venti, I'm buying it.
Yikes. This
But
guy's
yeah,
gay.
I
Why do you
think
guys
I
feel
think for the
bad
rest of
rolling
it,
for gachas?
I mean, I don't feel
I mean,
bad
for
rolling.
this was this was this was
I always feel
terrible.
bad spending
This
money
was
on
awful.
fucking shit, man. What the fuck is
The problem is,
If you buy something, you commit to it, even if it's crap.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
the
Toast,
thing
the
is,
problem
the
is
thing
that
is,
I got like $100 in, and I was like, I didn't
yeah, I
get
mean, he
him, and I was like,
Dark
What's
literally
this
that?
is
sunk
just
cost
sunk
fallacy
cost
himself.
out. Like
Like,
Yeah,
and I'm sitting there and I
definitely.
know this, and I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? Like, I can't just. I
Can't
was
just
like,
give
I
up.
will literally feel better if I drop like another at least like $50 to $75.
That's why with gotchas, like when I like did this sort of stuff. First of all, obviously I tried to stay FTP as much as possible. Like plan for the stuff like sparks or whatever banners that were coming ahead. But also, like for me, I was always like, I'm going to spend this much amount of jewels or whatever, and if it doesn't work out, it's done. I am not going to go like I can't. I like because there's going to be future banners, right? I can't do
But you should. But you should.
see, I tell myself that, and then I just roll.
Yeah, I
Roll.
mean that's what
But,
that happened to me too. That happened.
Oh my
That
god,
actually that happens to me in Grand Blue all the fucking time.
I
But
can't do that to myself.
also, like, I don't spend money on rolls in Grand Blue. Like, I've only ever
yeah,
spent on
see,
like costumes and shit.
the thing for me with spending money is like it has to be a concrete thing, right? Like if I'm spending money, I have to be like,
Hey
It is
man,
concrete
my
for me, though,
Venti
'cause
pull was concrete
right?
on the second one.
Yeah, shut up, dude. Like
oh my
for
god.
me, it's like if I'm gonna spend money, it's like to buy a subtext in Grand Blue, which is like you're buying the character. You can pick the character that you are getting, right? Or a costume, or like in FGO, it's the guaranteed 5-star roll, right? Like to me, like the idea of buying a roll is so fucked up, right? Because like you're throwing money into the hole for like the chance at getting what you
Yeah,
want,
I mean,
which is like it's
I
literally
knew like
gambling, right?
the moment I like went in to like try and get Venti, I was like,
The problem
I'm
is
in it now until I get him.
the
Like I
problem
know
is like
there's a I know exactly what the money threshold is, and I guess I'm there until I get him now.
the problem is it's like right now, like you guys are all, I guess, in a sense, treating it like this sort of like it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. But it's like I need to get this object, right? Whereas I like force myself to view it as like how much the enjoyment I'm doing right now. So it's like the sort
Well,
of
I mean,
because
Genshin's fucked up too because fucking Venti is fun as shit, and they make you play as him multiple times. And at first, I was like, "Oh, Venti, like I don't fucking care about this character." Like, so I rolled for other shit. Like I could have got him, but I was like, "I'll get other characters. I like the other ones." Then they make you play as
Right.
him. They bring you through his character story and stuff, and I'm like, "Shit, now I really want him."
But yeah, I
And
just
that's a story how China took my money and made me gay.
yeah. I just again, if I
You know
have
what else China took from us?
Our lives.
Chinese food. Did you know Panda Express is not actually Chinese food? It's American
Yes.
Chinese food.
Yeah,
Did you know
literally
most
everybody in the entire
takeout
world
is?
wants that.
Most takeout isn't like real Chinese food.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing about American Chinese food. You know those takeout containers? They're usually held together by glue. So if you tear the packaging down, bam, free plate. You gotta remove, like, if they use staples or whatever though before you microwave it.
Cool.
I learned that the hard way. But yeah, free plate. That's why Chinese takeout is the best takeout. They don't use the styrofoam, non-eco-friendly paper, boy. Yeah, you know what else China gave us? Jackie Chan. That guy's cool.
Yeah.
anyways, thank you, Dark, for your shoutouts and callouts. And with that, we are done with the podcast for today. And a lot of not that much, news and stuff like that, but I think we've had a lot of interesting discussions for this podcast. So again, thank you to all of the viewers here and the listeners out there. And if you like what we do, we record our podcast live every other Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. That's with a numeral 4. So you can check us out on this Twitch page, again, where we stream our podcast live. Check us out on our VODs that we archive here, our highlighted streams of podcasts, or on our YouTube channel, 4PlayerAnimecast. So you can view it in whichever format that you desire. Check us out on our social media, of course, on Facebook, 4PlayerAnimecast, and on Twitter at 4PPAnimecast for our updates on podcasts when we're releasing and so on and so forth. Talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation media, anime, manga, light novels, visual novels, web novels, so much more. So check us out here, check us out there. And as always, we'll see you next time.